Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the whole flick out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole collect, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shah. All right, with GMS Mississippi Camp on the brother Ayashima. All right, and to my left.
Brother Aina.
And what we're going to get into today, all right, is a lesson inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, the fifth chapter. All right, a body as thou given me. Okay, understanding what that meant for Yahweh Shah and understand what that means for us, all right, in these times. Okay, because what we have to understand, all right, dealing with that first covenant, you had a protocol of animal sacrifice, okay, and you got to the point to where the Lord, was fed up, all right, with Jake, okay, and those unsincere sacrifices, man, all right. So Yahweh Shai came and he established another standard, okay, that was acceptable to the Heavenly Father, okay, and it wasn't that standard of animal sacrifice, okay, it was us, being a continued sacrifice. Matter of fact, before we get that in Hebrews 10, let's get um let's get that in Isaiah chapter 1, I believe, beginning at verse 12 maybe. Go to the book of Isaiah.
He come to appear before me.
That's 12.
Isaiah 1:12.
Um, Starting at 11.
11. Isaiah chapter 1, starting at verse 11. It says, to what purpose is the multitude?
Matter of fact, start at 10. Start at 10.
Isaiah chapter 1, starting at verse 10. Hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. Ye rulers of Sodom, give ear unto the law of our power. Ye people of Gomorrah.
Yeah, so Jake, has disgusted the Lord so much that he's likening them unto Sodom and Gomorrah. So this is the Lord, all right, cursing Jake ass out, man. You know, liking them to Sodom and Gomorrah, showing that their conduct, their behavior, their mindset is based in rebellion, man, and doing what the hell they want to do. But then they will come, and do sacrifices and come, do the high holy days, go through the motions, but their mind was on what they wanted to do. Okay, but as long as they had sacrifice, they felt like they was in the clear. So Jake had corrupted, all right, the system of sacrifice, man. Okay, you got it, bro.
Verse 11. It says, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fats of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of ye goats.
Yeah, so Jake had the spirit as if sacrificing these animals, they were doing the most high favor. You know? So the Lord's like, look, how they moving is not sincere. They're not getting it because the sacrifice was supposed to be a tool that pushed us toward righteousness, man. The fact that our livestock has to die based on our actions, was to push us towards righteousness, so we wouldn't have to continue to do that. Okay? Well, Jake flipped it, okay, and made it a thing to where they was manipulating the system. They corrupted the system, man. And the Lord wasn't pleased with that. That sacrifice wasn't pleasing because it wasn't sincere. Okay? Go ahead.
Can I read that in NLT, Bible Shop?
Okay.
Verse 11 NLT, it said, what makes you think I want all your sacrifices, says the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. I am sick of your burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fattened cattle. I get no pleasure from the blood of bulls, lambs, and goats. Like you said, the Lord, he got tired of it. Back into the KJV, verse 12, it says, when ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand to tread my courts?
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 13, bring no more vain oblations. Well, bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. Incense is like
Yeah, incense. Yep.
incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meetings.
Yeah. So everything that they were doing was in vain because their mind wasn't right. Their spirit was off. Okay, and it wasn't being done in sincerity. Okay, and even King David understood. Okay, as you go into um, matter of fact, finish and read down. We're going to jump into the book of Psalms 51. So, yeah, finish, read down to 15.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one over too. In NLT 13, it says, "Stop bringing me your meaningless gifts." Like you said, it wasn't sincere at all. It says, "Your incense of your offering disgusts me. As for your celebrations of the new moon and the Shabbat, your special days for fasting, they are all a
feasting.
throughout your
Yeah, for fasting. Yeah, special day for fasting. Yeah,
your special days for fasting. They are all sinful and false. I want no more of your plush
and pious.
pious meetings."
Yeah, so everything that Jake was doing, it wasn't done in sincerity, and Jake was doing these things, just going through the motions, man. All right, Jake wasn't sincere. Like you have people, that'll do things, you know. There's one thing about Jake, when Jake trying to get something that, they want, what do? Okay, they act like they down with everything you down for. That's what Jake does. When Jake, is trying to manipulate. Okay, or Jake is scheming. What do? Jake act like they're down for everything that you're down for. Like they have the same mind that you have. Okay, they're all about what you about. Okay, so Jake was doing that, man, trying to play these games. Okay, it wasn't done in sincerity. It was all about Jake, and what they wanted. Okay, so as you keep reading, read verse 14, 15.
Verse 14, it says, "Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth.
Yep.
He are they are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them."
Go ahead.
Verse 15.
Yeah, the Lord was he said he's weary to bear them, man.
Can't stand
To
it.
see you niggas, man, playing games. Come around, smiling and going through the motions and singing the songs and sacrificing like you sincere, but knowing you bullshit, man. You know? So the Lord, was just getting pissed at Jake, man. Okay? Acting like they didn't see Jake was acting like the Most High was a step or two behind them. And that's how people do. People think that you be a step or two behind them. Think that they playing these games and, trying to manipulate people. Think like you a step or two behind them. Okay, and this what Jake was on, to the Most High. Okay, go ahead.
Come. It says, "And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yeah, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear your hands. I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood."
Yeah, cause you see a nigga now. Here it is, a nigga be a straight, serial killer. Okay, but then when something happened to this nigga, pray for man. What you mean?
Mhm.
This nigga did nothing that this nigga does is pleasing to the Lord. The Lord not hearing no prayers for goddamn man. All right, and Tanisha, the Lord not hearing them goddamn prayers, man. Okay, and this is is that they want to live how they want to live, do what they want to do, but when they get to a point where they need, all right, a miracle, they need some type of divine intervention, then they want to pray, then they want to be holy and sanctified, man. Okay, showing it's the same people back in that same spirit today, man. Well, the Lord's not hearing niggas, man. The Lord is finna punish Jake, man, for thinking like this. But now, let's segue into what the Lord requires, man. And this is as we come into this understanding, this walk becomes easier, man. You know, when we understand our purpose, this walk become easy. We understand why we're here. Okay? Uh, let's get Psalms 51 and start at 14. Yeah, Psalms 51 and 14. Yep.
It says, deliver me.
Mm-hmm.
God, Psalms 51 and 14. Deliver me from the blood,
Guiltiness.
guiltiness. Oh, I
Yep.
couldn't get it out. Deliver me from the blood guiltiness, O power. Thou power of Slakia, O Most High, thou power of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing alone aloud of thy righteousness.
Go ahead.
O Lord, open.
Matter of fact, jump to 16. That's the point.
Come. Verse 16. For thou desires no sacrifice.
Yep, thou desires not sacrifice, which is the animal sacrifice. Okay, because an animal sacrifice should have been was a representation of Yahweh Shai anyway. Okay, go ahead.
It says, else would I give it,
Yep.
thou delights not it burnt offering.
Go ahead.
The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O Most High, thou wilt not desire.
Yeah, so the sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit. You see, and before we came into the truth, see, there was pride that had to be breaking in us, man. There was old traditions of rebellion, all right, that was cultivated in us that had to be broken. We had to be contrite for, who we used to be, how we used to move, how we used to think. Like, we were supposed to become ashamed of even thinking like that, man. You see, and if we're still trying to hold on to any way of that old way of thinking, man, guess what, man? The Lord not accepting the sacrifice. Everything that we doing in vain, and we not fully becoming a new creature in Yahweh Shai. It makes everything else that we do in vain, no matter how much work we do and how much labor we put in, and we aren't becoming new creatures in Yahweh Shai, then all that's in vanity, man. And we're truly not humbled down. Okay, we're playing like we're humble. Okay, we're playing like we sincere, but we really not sincere. Okay, then everything we were doing will be for naught, because the Lord is dealing with a contrite heart, man. Someone that's truly broken, man. Okay, and if you're broken, you're not going to repeat the same behavior that you've been doing. If you're really broken, you're not going to repeat that behavior, because just the thought of doing that, it makes you ashamed. The thought of things that we used to do should make us ashamed. And if thinking of those things make us ashamed, how much more to actually continue on and doing those things, man? So that's what the Lord is dealing with. Those that are truly sorrowful, all right, for wickedness, man, all right, for being in rebellion, okay, because what does that do? That creates a mind that's geared towards righteousness, man, a mind that the Lord can deal with, that's acceptable to Him, Jump back to Isaiah 1:16, because it's going to go into what the Lord requires, man, and then we're going to segue into, all right, Yahweh Shai and His, sacrifice. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16, it says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings.
Yep, a wash ye, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings. And how will wash? Real quick, St. John 15:3.
St. John 15:3.
Yep, St. John 15:3. You see? Because how are we washed? How are we cleansed? Go ahead.
This is Yahweh Shai speaking in St. John chapter 15, verse 3. It says, now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
Yeah, through the word. Through what? Applying the word. Okay, applying this word. That's how we're made clean. See, obedience is like a ritual. Just like these niggas have to do rituals on the left-hand side to move up in Esau's kingdom. Well, obedience is like a ritual, man. Okay? In which, as we perform obedience, okay, according to the scriptures, and we rehearse the righteous acts, that's cleansing our conscience, man. That's cleansing our mind from the filth of this world. So it's an actual cleansing process, man. You see? So, going back to Isaiah 1 and 16, read it again.
Isaiah 1 and 16, it says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes, cease to do evil.
Yeah, put away the evil you're doing from before my eyes. That's what the Lord requires. Okay? Even when you, real quick, get, 1 Samuel 15, I believe it's 21. Look at that 1 Samuel. You see, and this is not a new concept. You know, the Lord always was like this. The sacrifice, okay, was a representation, okay, of what Yahushua would come to do. All right? You know, it wasn't the Lord that he was just in love with the actual sacrifice itself. You know, like just because you did that, then that kept him off your ass. No, the sacrifice was supposed to be a representation, okay, a foreshadow of Yahushua, and it was supposed to be a tool to push us towards righteousness, man. Okay? So read that in 1 Samuel 15 and yeah, 21. Yep. Because we went into this the other day, you got to go.
This is 1 Samuel 15 and 21. It says, the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, the sacrifice unto the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, thy power, and
Gilgal.
Gilgal.
Yeah, so guess what? King Saul was given the order to eradicate the Amalekites. Men, women, and children, livestock, everything that was living amongst Amalek. Okay? But what did King Saul do? All right? He partially obeyed. And that's another thing. The Lord not dealing with that partial obedience, man. You're compliant when, you know, it agrees with you. You know, you're compliant when things are convenient for you. You comply when things are like how you think they should be. The Lord not dealing with that partial shit neither, man. You know, that wishy-washy, that inconsistent. The Lord not dealing with that shit, man. You know, yeah, this off and on and all that. Like the Lord not dealing with that partial shit neither. You know, you excel in this category, but then you don't agree with this part, so he's like, I'm gonna just keep doing how I've been. The Lord not dealing with that, man. You see, the Lord is dealing with a 100% obedience, man. And we understand the mission now, so we're able to be 100% obedient to the mission, man. Okay? King Saul was given a mission and he didn't complete the mission. He partially completed the mission and the Lord rejected that nigga, man. Now listen to what Samuel's going to tell him. Go ahead.
God, verse 22, it says, and Samuel said, have the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai as great and delight in burnt sacrifice, it's like in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord. Yahweh Shema Shai. Behold, to obey is better than to sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
Yeah, let's read that in
NLT. Yeah, I'll think throughout, bro. 15 and 22, it says, but Samuel replied, what is more pleasing to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai? Your burnt offerings and sacrifices.
Yeah, your burnt offerings or sacrifices. Okay? That's just like a woman, you know, showering you with gifts, but she partially listen to you. You know? But she's showering you with gifts. Okay? But you getting partial obedience. She obey when she want to. Okay? It's like, damn, you would rather have the obedience. You know, because we men, we can, you know, acquire our own things. Okay? It ain't like we just through. You see? You would rather have obedience. Okay? She buying you things, but then she's, you know, still dealing with other men. And, okay? She dress what she want to wear. You know, she cook you what she want you to have. You're like, God damn. You know? But she buying you, you know, a PlayStation. Yeah. She bought you the PlayStation, you know.
Nigga in charge.
Yeah. With the college football, you know, Travis Hunter edition, you know, some shit. You see? But that's how Jake was, man. You see, Jake feels like I'm giving these gifts. I'm giving the Lord a little attention, so I'm good. I can go do what I want, and that's, the Lord was cursing Jake out, and that's what Saul was doing. He's like, well, I did partially what you did. Cause you look at that account, Samuel, Saul was trying to justify what he did. Yeah, he trying to make it seem like, hey, I did do what the Lord said. You partially did what the Lord said. Nigga, you was giving specific orders. Okay, go ahead.
It says, I'm gonna read from this part here. It says, what is more pleasing to the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Shai, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to His voice?
Your obedience to His voice. You see, obedience is this is what the Lord requires, man, and this is what we're learning in this time, and this is why, we're gonna get into it. Okay, there's some more on that.
It says obedience is better than sacrifice.
Oh, obedience is better. So it's letting you know, obedience is better than sacrifice, because you can sacrifice and not be sincere. Okay, Esau, he gives billions of dollars to, in different organizations and shit. Esau might build you a college, you might build you a gym, or whatever. Put so much here in this infrastructure and that. Do you think this nigga cares about life? No. So you can sacrifice and not be sincere. You can give particular things materially and not be sincere. But see, when you begin to sacrifice you, then it's like, oh, you see, that's another level. When you begin to sacrifice you, then the Lord like, okay, now, all right, now we cooking. You see?
There's some more on that too.
You got it.
I'm trying to find that precept going into how obedience is a representation of your faith.
Oh yeah, James. Yeah, finish that, then finish that in Isaiah, and then we'll tie that James to it. We're gonna get into that Hebrews. Yeah, that James will be. Go ahead.
It says, and here's Solomon's answer. It says, listen, obedience is better. Samuel, the water. It says Samuel's answer. It says, listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering of the fat of rams.
Yeah, so submission. Not partial submission. Because that's not sincere. Okay? Because when you do something partial, all right, you're trying to do just enough, to please, okay? Or you trying to do just enough not to get, you're just trying to avoid, all right, being criticized or scrutinized, okay? Or being told about yourself, so you do just enough to kind of fly under the radar. Yeah, so instead of sincerely, okay, being obedient, man. Okay? So let's go back to that in Isaiah, read 17, then we'll get to Hebrews. Okay? Yeah, Isaiah chapter 1.
17?
Yeah.
This is Isaiah chapter 17, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 17. Mm-hmm. It says, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed,
yep.
Judge the fatherless,
yep.
Plead for the widow.
Yeah, so when you go into the oppressed, the fatherless, and the widow, it represents us as a people, because the fatherless and the widows were the most vulnerable among the society. Mm-hmm. And you look at our people today, they're the most vulnerable in this system. Now, there's a remnant amongst that, all right, that we are to tend to, because we can be our, we can, and that goes into making our body a living sacrifices, because with these bodies, we've constantly put ourselves in a position to do what, man? All right, to take care of the vulnerable of our people. And right now, that's the hopeful elect. Mm-hmm. Okay, we the fatherless and the widows. All right, because we could spend way more time chasing the bag, getting rich, building businesses, building income, and all these different things, which we know we got to have, revenue to take care of our day to day. Okay, but as we get more and more to the truth, man, it's more about taking care of the Lord's business, man, and our business is on the back end. To where we could see. One thing about it too is we tap more into Yahweh Shai. Well, we don't need as much in the world anymore, because you look at all the shit that we was into, just buying, all these things. Jake, you buy outfits to step out. You do this to be seen. You do that to be seen. You here, you there. You're doing all these things, and we start cutting a lot of those things out. It cuts down our overhead, which gives us more time to be into this, man, to sacrifice into this, man. So now we're starting to look at what can we cut off in the world so we can sacrifice even more time, all right? So we can do even more work, okay? Because we understand this is why we're here, you see? So going back, let's go to the point of the lesson, Hebrews 10 and 5.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 5, it says, wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he said, sacrifice and offerings thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared for me.
Yeah, so sacrifice and offering thou would not, but a body has thou prepared for me. And this is Yahweh Shai. So the Lord sent down Yahweh Shai, all right, not to just go through the motions of animal sacrifice, which, he kept the law perfect, so he would no doubt, okay, participate in different things of the temple, which he didn't need a sin sacrifice because he didn't sin, but you had peace offerings, free will offerings, and particular things, all right, but he never had to do a sin offering because he didn't sin, okay, and that's not why he came, was to do the traditions of the temple. No, he came to be an example of what the Lord wanted, okay, which is obedience. You see, because he was in the Roman Empire, he could have been way popular. Yahushua could have been the biggest celebrity that ever existed, okay, in Rome. You see, he had spiritual power. You see, so they wanted to make him king. You see, it could have been this big revolution. No, that wasn't the mission. He stuck to the mission of teaching, laying the groundwork for this ministry, and then ultimately himself being the sacrifice at the end of it. He stuck to the mission. He didn't partially obey. He kept the law perfectly, which that's another, But then when it came to him being wrongly accused, well, he stayed obedient and took the death. Okay? That was his obedience there. He stayed obedient to the mission. He was given a specific task by the Lord to carry out. Being perfect in the law was only a part of that mission. He had to be perfect. He had to be obedient all the way up to the cross. He had to take that death. He had to take that humiliation. Okay? So he understood this is why he was given this body. Read that in the NLT.
In Romans 10, it's like Hebrews 10 and 5 NLT, it said, this is the day when Hamashiach came into the world.
Yep.
He said to the Most High, you did not want any animal sacrifices or sin offerings.
Yep, you don't want any animal offerings. Okay, go ahead.
But you have given me a body to offer.
You have given me a body to offer. And we have been given this body to offer as a living sacrifice. Okay? As we went into, matter of fact, get that in Romans 12 and 1, showing us, because Yahweh Shai set a standard of how we should be. Because he was a living sacrifice. That's why he didn't deal with women. He didn't have family. No, he sacrificed all that for the ministry. All right, so he will be what? More available to teach, more accessible to teach, more accessible to groom and develop the disciples. He was locked in. So he sacrificed a life. He even before he had to be physically killed, okay, he had sacrificed his life for the ministry, man. That's why when he was 12, what they found him in the temple, okay, being occupied in his ministry, man. Go ahead.
Romans 12:1.
Yep.
It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High,
Yep.
that you present your bodies as living sacrifices.
Oh, that you present your bodies as living sacrifices, man. Okay? Because we have to physically, all right, sacrifice our time and our bodies for this ministry, man. We could be doing other things with these bodies, man. Okay? But no, we're constantly giving our body over to this, man, more and more. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High,
Yep.
which is your reasonable service.
It says acceptable. It says acceptable to the Most High. So the Lord accepts our living sacrifice. All right, and then it's going to read that in the NLT, and then you can read verse 2 in the NLT. It's going to expound on, okay, what does that living sacrifice look like? Go ahead.
As in Romans 12:1 NLT, it says, so dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to the Most High, because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him.
Yeah, the kind that he will find acceptable, man. And it goes into the behavior, it goes into the intent, it goes into the obedience, man. You know? Go ahead.
It says this is truly the way to worship him.
Yeah,
And that's how you work. That's how you truly worship the Lord. I almost say roughly paraphrase. It might be right. It says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments.
yeah.
So if you love the Lord and you truly want to worship him, then you're gonna do what he tell you to do.
You're gonna be obedient. You're gonna be consistent. Because guess what? Different things change. Our emotions, we go through emotions. We go through ups, down, highs, lows, broke, rich, in between, broke again. You know what I mean? We go through all these different things. But guess what? Their consistency gonna stay the same. You can bank on brothers being on point on their posts. Brothers have all type of things going on in the background, but it doesn't deter. That's why you have Apostle Paul say we endure all things for the elect's sake, because it's bigger than us. Okay, it's bigger than how we feel or what we think. We get wrong. You know what I mean? We've been wrong. We've been betrayed. We've been wrong. We've been put out there. We done been. Hey, you see, like damn. You look at things like shit, but it is what it is. Charged to the game. Still, the ministry got to go on. Yep. What did Apostle Paul say? I went through all these different things. You know, beaten and shipwrecked and robbed and perils and all. But he said, I still got to carry the churches, man. That shit don't matter what I've been through. I still got to carry the churches, and that's the acceptable sacrifice that the Lord is dealing with, man. That intent, that mindset. You see, it goes beyond, trying to be perfect in the law. No, it's an intent, okay? It's a mind towards obedience, man. It's obedience to death, man. You got it, bro.
That's why Yahweh Shai, like you said, he did it all the way up to the cross. So, and what he said, the world hates you, know that they hated me before it hated you.
Yep.
So if they did all these things to Yahweh Shai, what makes us think that we just gonna coast it out?
You gotta drink of that cup. You see, and that's part of the obedience too. A lot of Jake, they don't want to drink that cup. That's why they try to make the ministry cute, make it world friendly. They into this. They got all these side missions because Jake don't want to drink that cup, which the Lord said we must drink that cup. Okay, so we're drinking this cup of Yahushua. We gotta take being an outcast. We gotta take being persecuted by our people. Even amongst those of the circumcision being looked at, in a particular way. Well, that's all the cup of Yahushua, man. Okay. You gotta take. That's why Apostle Paul said, "Ye that have wives, be as though you have none," because it's gonna be times when we're not gonna be able to operate, as a husband, because we tapped into this, because we're constantly making ourselves a sacrifice for this. Okay. So there's brothers that sacrifice families, man. They have sacrificed, good paying jobs and opportunities, man, to continue to be obedient to Yahushua, man. Okay, and Yahweh Shai always take care of his. Okay, because it ain't even about having what we want. We got what we need. You know, we got what we need while we're able to continue to be pleasing to the Lord. You see, you got it, bro.
Come. It says, verse 2, it says, don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world,
Yep.
but let the Most High transform you into a new person by changing the way you think.
By changing the way you think. Okay, and it's a constant thing. We making adjustments and changing the way you think. Okay. See, Jake coming to the truth and still be on this same old bullshit. Nigga woman coming to the truth, still be on that same old bullshit. Still got these same, Western doctrines in their mind. Still mimicking the same behavior of niggas and the nigga women in the world. Okay? That's not acceptable, man. Okay? You can't be part Israelite, then part nigga. Part Israelite, then part feminist. It don't work. That's Lord not dealing with that sacrifice, man. Just like Cain bringing them goddamn fruit to the altar, man. Nigga. Yeah. Nigga brought a zucchini. You know eggplant like this nigga, man.
You knew what he was doing.
Doing what he wanted to do, man. Okay? I'm going to give the Lord what I want him to have. That's when you come with this mindset of there's certain things about you that you're not going to change. Certain things of this world that's about you that you're not going to change. There's you saying, I'm going to give the Lord what I want him to have. And the Lord not accepting that shit getting rejected every time, man. Okay? Go ahead.
I got a precept for you.
You finished that.
I'll go back and finish that.
Yeah, finish that, Romans. I think some more than Romans 12 and 2.
Okay.
And then get what you had, bro.
Okay. It says, then you will learn to know the Most High's will for you.
Yeah, then you will begin to learn the Most High's will for you, and that's the point. We understand now. We've been given this body to teach. More and more, like I'm waking up every day, like the Lord put us here to teach. All this other shit does not matter, bro. Like all this other shit, all this pettiness, that shit do not matter. Because we got forever to enjoy the rewards and the perks of rulership, man. All this shit here outside the teaching, it really don't matter, man. This is why we've been given this body, man. Okay? Every time brothers go to camp, every time brothers go to live streams, every time brothers separate and research and study, guess what? You're putting your body on the altar. And that's acceptable to the Lord. Every time we do these things in the spirit, guess what? This is acceptable to the Lord through Yahweh Shai. Okay, and Yahweh Shai created that standard to where we can do these things and it's acceptable to the Heavenly Father. We don't have to do the animal sacrifice. Our behavior, okay, our discipline, our restraint, our being separated from this world, as it says in verse 12, not copying the behavior of this world, that's the acceptable sacrifice now. Because it's done in sincerity. You see, go ahead.
It says, then you will know the Most High's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect.
Yeah, which is good and pleasing and perfect. The Most High will for you. And these brothers, we know, of course, is to do this work and the labor. Then you begin to find out your specific office in this thing, man. The more you tap in, the more the Lord shows you what your office is, man. And if we understand the office, tap into that. And see, there's another thing with the sacrifice. You will cut off particular things. Okay. Matter of fact, see if you can look things cut off before sacrifice in the Bible. Parts of animal cut off before sacrifice. And that's the bullshit of this world. See, once you understand the purpose, you can cut the bullshit off. That shit unnecessary. The Lord not dealing with that. Certain parts got to get cut off. Okay? And we understand, okay, the will of the Lord. Then you can begin to cut away off at the unnecessary shit. Okay? The shit that don't matter. You see? Yeah, you can read that. Yeah.
Okay, says, just as
Yes, that middle part.
it says specifically with burnt offerings, one of the oldest, most common sacrifices, the animal would be skinned and cut into pieces,
Mm-hmm.
including the head and fat.
Yep.
The entrails and legs were also separated,
Yep.
washed with water, and then added to the fire with other pieces.
Yep. So you will have pieces that will be cut off that wouldn't go on the altar. And that's the bullshit of this world that the Lord is cutting away at. Because remember, the word is like what? A two-edged sword. And what does a sword do? It cuts. You see? So you can be, if it's meant for you to be offended by the word, then the word gonna cut you, you're gonna bleed out. But then if it's meant for us to be edified by this word, to be built up, the word is gonna cut away bullshit.
You're gonna heal.
Yeah, it's gonna cut bullshit away. Okay? So before we become an acceptable sacrifice, there's certain things that have to be cut away. Or that shit gonna be rejected every time. You can try to repackage it. You know, a nigga, the nigga woman try to repackage. No, you gotta cut that bullshit away, or it's gonna be rejected every time. Okay? Go ahead.
It says the blood of animals was collected and thrown against the sides of the altar. The fat, particularly
The visceral fat.
Visceral fat,
Yep.
which is the fat around the organ like kidneys and liver, were considered special and also burned on the altar as an offering to the Most High. This demonstrated the seriousness of the sacrifice and the completeness of the offering to the Most High.
Yeah, those are the best parts. The best cuts of meat you had to really sacrifice. That's what you sacrifice to the Lord. That's why the Lord is dealing with us and not you.
Like he dealt with Adam, not Adam. He dealt with Abel and not Cain.
Abel gave the best parts.
Cain
See?
gave what he wanted to give.
Yeah, he gave, and that's what a nigga do. You know, they give the Lord what they want the Lord to have, but they keep the best parts to themselves. Okay, that's why I say a nigga, I wanna put fringes on his shirt, but still be a nigga. Still wanna enjoy the perks of being a nigga in this world. Okay, but put fringes on everything.
Now you bringing blame on the ministry.
Yeah, you giving the Lord what you want him to have, the bullshit, but then you keep the best part for yourself, man. Okay, you keep certain hours open for nigga hours. You know, you keep the best hours open, for nigga hours. Okay, Saturday night you can't go one Saturday night without going out. You get the Lord to, you hang over on Sunday, you halfway hang over, then you get that to the Lord. You ain't even in your right mind. Okay, but you give your most energy to nigga hours, man. Certain women, they want those, feminism, the perks of feminism in this world, but still want to be covered. Nah, man, it don't work like that. Okay, and the Lord not going to accept it, and you can't slide in like niggas think that they gonna dress it up just right and slide in with that bullshit. No, it's gonna get rejected every time. Okay, you had that in James. You wanna get that in James? John. I thought you said that showing the work by faith, or was it something else you had? You found something. It was a John, the one you want. Okay. Go. Yeah, give what you want.
Going into because we're saying how we have to continue to be changed. In John 3:30, it says he must increase and I must decrease. And when we're being changed, when the Lord is changing us, and He's cutting, like we're going into like the sacrifice, He's cutting out the bullshit, and He's replacing it with attributes that's pleasing unto Him. So we're decreasing. This flesh is decreasing. That want to appease the flesh. They won't go out all the time. Like you're saying, there's different things that are displeasing to the Lord. Those things are decreasing. And as the Lord is continuing to decrease those things, indirectly He's replacing those. As we continue to be consistent, continue to be in prayer, continue to truly, sincerely, that's the most important thing, sincerely, especially when we're getting into the lesson, sincerely seek the Lord. Continue to sincerely seek Yahweh Shem Shai. He begins to increase in us. That's why I said, I must decrease and he must increase.
Yeah.
So in order for the Lord to increase in us, we gotta decrease, meaning we gotta be humble.
You gotta
We
cut
the bullshit.
cut, so yeah, you decrease.
If it's full, it's just like the cup. You know, if this cup is full of bullshit, then I can't put nothing else in there.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pull some shit out.
A new wineskin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just like the brother is saying, so when you decrease, you cut away things that don't matter. You know, and we'll end that in Hebrews 12 and 1 and 2. You know, I already know my favorite precept. You see, it's on the garment, baby.
Hebrews 12, 1 and 2.
Yep.
Hebrews 12, 1 and verse 2. Wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses,
Yep.
let us lay aside every weight and the
Hey,
sin.
because everyone's looking at the prophets. You know, heavens. You know, scripture speak about things that angels, you know, want to look into. And then you have the world, because we're the most known unknown. Everyone is looking at the prophets, man. Why the talking points of the world are starting to sound like what? The talking points of the prophets, man. Okay? So we're center stage. Okay? And everyone's seeing how we're performing coming down the stretch. Go ahead.
It says, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which do it so easily beseed us.
Yeah, every weight and sin, going back to laying things aside. Things that can be a weight. Because we on the mission. And when you're on the mission, okay, you don't want all these unnecessary things, man.
Unnecessary weight.
Unnecessary, yeah, things that's a hindrance, man. So you looking at things cut off. You know, you're analyzing everything, everyone, everything. Okay, look, cut off. You're not an asset to the mission. Cut off. You know, this particular venture, look, it's not good for the mission. Cut off. You see? So we're constantly cutting off things, all right, that can be a hindrance to the mission, man. We can't compromise the mission for nothing or nobody. Okay? People just trying to make, you know, your life about them. No. You're gonna cut that off, man. All right? Certain jobs try to have you just swarm down. And, no, we finna cut you off. You know? We finna sacrifice that. We finna put you on the altar.
There you go.
Yeah,
especially, like you said, especially if it's a hindrance.
Yeah.
Anything that's a hindrance that pull us away from your whole body, you gotta go. Put your ass in there first.
Drag you to the altar.
It says, and let us run.
Hey, what Isaac said when Abraham finna sacrifice. Isaac said, what the goat is, nigga?
You.
Abraham said the Lord will provide.
That showed his faith too, his obedience.
Yeah, obedience. That's a beautiful point. You know, Abraham was obedient. Like damn, remember, the Lord said his heir, he was gonna be a dynasty through Isaac. So Isaac was his only heir. So if he destroyed Isaac, then he back at square zero. But see, he didn't trust on he didn't lean to his own understanding. He trusted in the Lord. That's another thing. Don't try to make the Lord fit into our logic. You can't make the Most High fit into our logic. If the Lord is telling us something and it's clear, roll with it. No matter how it feels to our logic, and you know, we think we so analytical and deep and got it figured out. Like no, if the Lord, all right, is showing us signs with particular things, roll with that. If the Lord is, because the Lord speaks to us more and more. That's another thing. Like the way the Lord communicates to us is becoming on a higher level. Because coming into Jacob's trouble, you know, we might be, we're going to be in direct, contact with angels, man. The Lord's going to be communicating on that level in these times, man.
It's going to be very distinct.
Yeah. So when the Lord is because we're becoming keen on when to pick up on when the Lord is talking and telling us how to move. Okay? So don't try to make the Lord fit into our logic, man. Okay? That's the recipe for complete disaster, man. You got it, bro.
It says, Salaka, you know when somebody that obedience, Abraham had to, when it came to sacrificing his son, like
Mm-hmm.
like Jake always talk about what they go through. Are you willing to put your child on the altar for the Lord? Like the Lord and told, like you said, it was gonna be his dynasty. Like I know his son. Abraham obeyed. Abraham was, and though we understood that obedience, but average Jake, I know he would have been like, "Shit, my son,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could do this one."
He been trying to make sense of it, and well, you told me this, Lord, and you told me, trying to go back and forth,
From the
No,
whole thing.
nah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
It says, "And let us run the patience. Let us run with patience the race that is set before us."
Yep. So the mission, run this thing with patience, man. Okay. So and we should have the mindset of a marathon. Okay. But this is a marathon that the Lord has put us on. All right. So we here for the long term. So that's why you don't need unnecessary weight. To weigh us down, to slow down the mission. No, we want to be running at full throttle, full capacity, man. And the less that we have on our plate, the better it is, man. You know, that's why I said this is why we're not no goddamn community center prophets, man. Okay, we're not Jake psychiatrists, and we're not a shrink. Okay, if the word don't heal you, if these lessons going out is not healing you, there's nothing we can do. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 2, it says, "Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, for who for the joy was set before him, for who the joy was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High."
Yeah, so he's the author, okay, which is what the pioneer of our faith. Okay, so he set the standard of how we should be when it comes to obedience, man, to the Father. Yahushua, big brother, he showed all his little brothers, this is what the Father requires, this type of obedience. Okay, unto death. Okay, so Yahushua was that example of it. He was the author of it. You know, they might tell you, look, I wrote the book. On change and transmission, showing you that look, he's a master. Well, Yahushua said he's the author of our faith. Well, he mastered faith. Okay, and he left an example of us to master our faith, man. You see, and he didn't care about the shame. That's another thing. We don't care about the shame. We don't care about how we look to niggas, man. We're not trying to appease nigga culture. That's why we don't have any gimmicks attached to the ministry. We don't care about being looked at a certain way in front of nigga or the nigga woman. We don't care about that shit, man. Okay, we understand the glory that's beyond that, man. I think we care about a nigga opinion. A nigga, all right, is listening. Look, you look at the music niggas listen to. You look at the decisions and the choices that niggas are making. Why the hell we care about how they feel, how they think? You look at the nigga woman and what she's on. All right, why would we even care about what they think? Okay, understanding the glory that we got coming on the back end, man. You know, so we ended there. That was the point. All right. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations, and hopefully, shalom.
Shalom.